Okay, we've got another quick one here. We're back on Unveiling Lazarus in Mark's Gospel. This is episode 7, the one offering the sour wine to Jesus. So again, the focus of the series, Lazarus is making cameo appearances in the Gospels, and these appearances are more prominent in the Gospel according to Mark than the other synoptics. And why is that? Because his friends, Peter and Andrew, the real source of this Gospel, they want you to find him there in their Gospel. Quick look at where we've been. Episode 1 was just intro. Episode 2 and 3, we had two parts on the rich young ruler. Episode 4, we had the naked young man in the garden. Episode 5, we had the beloved disciple at the Last Supper. All of those I'm completely convinced, and maybe you are too, that those were Lazarus. Episode 6, we had the man carrying a pitcher of water and the master of the house, and we looked at both of those guys. Possible, not as much of a slam dunk as the previous ones, but today I think we have another one, very high probability that the person we're talking about today is Lazarus. So here we go, the one offering the sour wine to Jesus. What's different about Mark's version of the story, and does Mark's version point to Lazarus more so than the other synoptic gospel accounts? So our text today, Jesus dies on the cross. This is out of Mark 15. It says, "Now, when the 6th hour had come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," which is translated, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Then some of those who stood by, when they heard that, said, "Look, he is calling for Elijah." Then someone ran and filled a sponge full of sour wine, put it on a reed, and offered it to him to drink, saying, "Let him alone. Let us see if Elijah will come to take him down." So, comparing the gospel accounts, Luke or Silas, depending on who you believe wrote that gospel, he differs most from the other three because there's an event there where it says the soldiers offered sour wine to Jesus. And we're going to dissect these and see what the differences are and come to a conclusion here when you harmonize them here. So back to Mark and Matthew, they are most similar. They both say that someone ran and offered the wine. Again, they have the most in common. Mark is there, again, Peter's account. And then on the fourth gospel says that they, not just one person, gave him wine to drink. So you have a group of people that the fourth gospel says gave him wine to drink. Other discrepancies, we're not sure who actually spoke about Elijah when we try to harmonize these. And it's tough to tell, were these people mocking or were they sincere? And it might depend on who we believe made that comment about Elijah. So, in closing, we're going to take a look at here. What is the evidence in favor of Lazarus being there at the cross, the one that gave Jesus the wine? First of all, we know that the beloved disciple Lazarus was at the cross. The other Gospels and other New Testament letters tells us that. And from what we already know of Lazarus, who would be a better candidate? We know that once Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, he was clinging to him. And again, the beloved disciple is Lazarus. We also know that the 12 disciples fled in fulfillment of Scripture, so they were not there. And this person was running, just like the rich young ruler and the beloved disciple ran to the empty tomb with Peter. And we talked about these things on previous episodes. So Lazarus seems to always be running all over the place in the Gospels. And then the fourth Gospel states that they gave the wine to Jesus. To me, this points to just maybe the modesty of Lazarus. He doesn't want to say, "And then I gave him the wine." It's just more, again, I think, just a point of modesty. He was just grouping himself with who he was with at the cross, saying that they gave him the wine. All of these things, I believe, fit the pattern of Mark, again, Peter hinting that his friend Lazarus is just sprinkled throughout the whole gospel, and he is the one indeed who is there at the cross. Again, I know that was a quick one today, but that's all we have. Look for future episodes. I think we've got a couple more episodes, Lord willing. But as always, let me know if you have any questions or comments. And as always, until next time, contend earnestly for the faith which was once for all delivered to the saints, and God bless.